As a bartender, I see a lot of different people coming in and out of the place, but only one stuck to me. Maybe because it was the most haunting or most horrific. For this story, all I can say is, it's not what it seems. 12 o'clock a.m. sharp is when he comes in. Every single night. He would never buy a drink, and would always sit in the same seat every night, even if someone else was occupying that table. No one seemed to care, because they were having too much fun, but I always kept an eye out. I always had a strange feeling whenever he would come in. He never came in with friends, and he never talked to anyone. One night, being sympathetic and all, I went up to him with a drink in my hand. I sat across from him and slid the drink towards him. He didn't grab it or touch it to stop it from sliding. He just stared. Luckily, the glass slid right to the end of the table, and it didn't fall. Otherwise, I would have to clean it up. "Hey," I said. He didn't reply. I said it again, but louder, trying to get him to say something. "So, where are you from? I see you here a lot, and I don't even know your name. That's pretty sad since I'm the bartender, and I don't even know a regular customer." He looked at me in shock and said, "I've never spoken to anyone in forever. Everyone seems to just ignore me and pretend as if I'm not here. My name is Evan." I smiled and replied, "Hey Evan, I'm Jason. I'm the bartender of this place, and I've seen you come in ever since I got this job 2 years ago. I've never seen you order anything. Why's that?" He looked at me and laughed. "Well, I don't drink. I'm actually waiting for my date." I was confused. I mean, he comes here every night for 2 years to wait for a date? That's not right. I felt so sorry for him because he didn't know that he was being cheated. "Evan, you know she'll never come, right? I mean, you've been waiting over 2 years. His eyes started watering, and I, myself, started feeling really sad and upset. My boss saw me sitting there for a while and told me to get to work. I looked at Evan and got up. I wanted to hug him when he started sobbing and telling me that it's not true. He got up and ran out the door. The only strange and creepy part of that was the fact that he ran right through my body. A cold wind shifted right through me, and I felt goosebumps climbing up my body. I went back to my boss, and before I could say a word, he yells at me, "Why are you taking such a long break? Not only did you occupy an entire empty table, you completely ignored customers' orders. Moreover, you were talking to yourself the entire time. You better get your shit straight. I don't want no crazy bartender working in my bar." After hearing that, I froze and asked him who Evan was. His face went pale and asked me, "Why are you asking? Just go to work." I replied simply with, "I saw him." He brought me to his room and gave me a newspaper. It read, "Local graduate Evan murdered in our bar." Witnesses say that a tall male around 5'11" to 6'2" came in around 12 in the middle of the night and shot 5 shots at Evan. The suspect is still unknown.
The club is not the best place to see your ex. That's a fact. When you're trying to enjoy a night out with the boys and you notice something from the corner of your eyes, your recent ex. This happened when I was out with my close friends, Hector, Justin, and Alex. We haven't spoken in ages, and I created a group on Facebook and I invited them for a drink that night. Little did I know that I would see my ex in the same place. She was with her friend. I didn't know who that was, but it was a female, or I think it was. My ex's name was Liz, and she was wearing the same red dress that I bought her for on her birthday. She was clearly drunk. Her heels kept dragging along the floor as she approached me. I hadn't even noticed that she was coming until Alex pointed at her and asked me, "Isn't that your ex?" I told him to give me some time alone with her as I got off my chair and walked towards her. The smell of her body had a strong stench of alcohol. I knew she had been drinking a lot based on her lipstick, which had completely come off on top and bottom. She walked up to me and hugged me really tight and started crying. I quickly grabbed her by the arm and dragged her aside before she could make a scene. "I'm so sorry for what I did," she told me. "It's okay, it's over. You don't need to linger on the past," I replied. "I still love you. Will you take me home?" she asked. I hesitated for a while and looked back at my friends and back at her. They seemed like they were having a blast, and I decided, sure, why not? I walked back to my group of friends and apologized for leaving early, but they all understood. I took her to my car and put her seatbelt on. Her address didn't change, so I drove her all the way back to her house. She ended up vomiting in my car, but being drunk, she gave me all of her money in her wallet for compensation. I soon arrived at her house and got out of my car and took her in her house. I gently laid her down on the couch and got her a pack of ice from the freezer, as well as a cup of water. I sat down next to her, practically feeding her water. Next thing I know, she started sobbing and crying my name out loud. I told her to stop and be quiet, not to disturb her neighbors. "It's getting late now. I have to go. I'm sorry," I said. She got upset and told me to stay until the morning. I checked the clock, only to realize that it was already 3 in the morning, and the road back home was pretty long. I apologized again and told her that I had to go. "Don't leave," she begged. As I got up to leave, she grabbed my hand extremely tight and pulled me towards her. I tripped on the rug and fell down next to the couch. Next thing I know, something heavy hit my head and I blacked out. I woke up in what seemed to be a basement. It was cold and dark with the furnace running beside me. I heard the sound of water dripping in the pipes behind me. I scanned around to find complete and utter darkness until she came down and turned on the lights. The brightness blinded me as I shut my eyes. When I opened them again, I was shocked to see pictures of me everywhere against the basement wall opposite of me. There were photos of me shopping, playing sports, working, and the worst of all, me sleeping in my bed. She walked close to me and told me that she had to go to work today and kissed me goodbye. I was freaked the hell out, to say the least. I hated being here. I wanted to leave as fast as I could, but I was tied behind my back. I was tied to a pipe behind me, but luckily it was pretty rusty. Out of rage, I yanked as hard as I could to try and free myself, but nothing happened, just rattling and squeaking. Finally, what felt like hours of yanking, I broke off the pipe and ran as fast as I could out of that house. The first thing I did was untie myself and head towards my car. I called the cops as soon as I got home because my wallet, my phone, and my glasses were taken from me. Luckily, I always hid my keys and my shoes, so she didn't get those, and luckily I was able to get in my car and back home safely. Shortly after, they arrested her and I filed a restraining order.